We're going to talk about liquidity now. What is money and what is not money? What's valuable and what's not valuable? Okay. How many like to have cash on hand and how many believe cash is king? Steve Mack says credit. Jonathan Jones says, I like credit better. I like credit better than cash. What do they mean by that? Here's what I'm talking about. I'm going to put something on the screen. I'm going to show you how valuable credit is and how valuable your cash is. Okay. Listen, I love cash. Okay. But do you know what I love more than cash? Okay. I like cash flow. So, folks, we're going to talk about credit versus cash right now. When you have debt, the most expensive money you have is the cash you have on hand in the bank. That is more expensive than any credit you currently have. Don, what are you talking about? Well, if I have cash, how is that expensive? It's sitting in the bank. It's not costing me anything. Yes, it is. That cash sitting in the bank is costing you a lot. All right. Amari Parks. Amari, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in like ages. She says, credit other people's money. Yes, that's right. Using other people's money. So when I first talked this to Amari, she says, well, it sounds kind of right, but I'm not quite sure. But now she knows it is a verified fact that using other people's money way better than using mine. I like cash flow. Cash flow is king, not just cash. How can I make more money with my money? If I have money sitting in the bank, I'm making 0.1% on that money in the bank. Am I actually making money in the bank? And not only that, but if inflation is somewhere between 2 and 6% each year, I'm actually losing money by sitting it in the bank. True or false? By sitting your money and keeping it in the bank, am I losing money by not investing it? True or false? Okay, true. I'm seeing it. Everybody's saying true. Losing money by putting it in the bank. So now let me show you a little trick here. Okay, let me show you a little trick here. Losing value. Marisol says losing value. Dahlia says true, losing value. If you're looking at this, folks, I'm going to put on here another thing here. All right. And we're going to close this out. Another amortization schedule. And I'm going to put on here $10,000. $10,000. So we're going to remove this. I'm going to put in 27%. This is a credit card. All credit cards are amortized over 240 months. That's 20 years. Okay. I have a $10,000 balance on a credit card at 27%. How does that make you all feel? Just looking at that. 27% interest on a credit card, 27% on a $10,000 balance. How does that make you feel? 27%. So now I've got money in the bank. I've got my credit card here. All right. And 27% is causing me to go crazy. So I got $10,000. I've got several $1,000s in the bank. So listen, folks, if I got $10,000 available, I'm using lines of credit. I got my mortgage. I've got car loan. I've got this credit card at 27%. I've got more than $10,000 in the bank. Should I pay off that credit card before anything else? Should I pay off that credit card because it's at 27%? That feels bad. Should I pay off the credit card? Yes or no? Steve Mack says no. Kadisha says no. What should I do with that $10,000 then, folks? Steve Mack says put it on the mortgage. Let me show you what happens if I pay off this credit card that's $10,000 and I pay it off all in 1 month. Yes, it's paid off, but here is the amount of interest that I pay. I need you to take a look at the interest-only payment. That's how much interest the bank is charging me that month on $10,000. See, here's what you have to remember, folks. You take the 27% and divide it by 12. That's how much interest you're paying that month. It comes to 2.25. 2.25% interest monthly. So the amount of interest that they want to charge me is $225. So if I pay that off, I don't have to pay the $225. Do you see what we're talking about? I don't have to pay the $225 if I pay off the $10,000. But if I take my cash out of the bank, I could pay off the credit card and save $225, or I can take that $10,000 and put it on this mortgage. Watch this. Watch cumulative principal here, folks. Watch cumulative principal here. I'm scrolling down till I hit $10,000, because if I give the bank the $10,000 that I was going to give to the credit card, I knock off 45 mortgage payments and I save $42,998.83. Oh, Lord have mercy. You save $225 versus 42K. Ha! Come on. Folks, this is how we're being taught. When we don't understand liquidity, how do we understand liquidity? We have to understand liquidity in that all of our money is valuable. We just have to know how to use it so that it is more valuable to me. I owe Visa $10,000. Okay. Steve Mack says no brainer. I owe Visa $10,000. And so if I don't pay them, I'm going to pay them the minimum payment and then pay them $225 in interest. I could then take the $10,000 I was going to give to Visa and put it on my mortgage and knock off 45 payments and save $42,988. I could do that with Visa's money, which is liquidity. Visa's money is liquidity. It's liquid money I could use. I borrowed their money, whatever I did with it, I did something with it. I paid for something. Okay. Let's say I paid for something that was great. I paid for new cabinets in my house. I was upgrading the house to make my house more valuable using Visa's money. But now they're going to charge me $225 for using their money. But instead of paying it all back to Visa right away, let me use the money that Visa gave me to upgrade my house to make it more valuable. But I'm going to use their money to put on this mortgage and get a huge discount. See, here's what I need you all to see. If I give the bank $10,000 towards principal by making just the monthly payments, making the principal payments here monthly, if I give them the $10,000 this way, it takes me 45 months to do that. 45 months worth of $200 payments to get to $10,000. But if I take all 45 months to do that, they're going to charge me $43,939.97 if I do it their way. They're saying, Don, here is the suggested retail price for moving your mortgage from the beginning to line 45 on your amortization schedule. The suggested retail price is $43,939.97. That's the suggested retail price. How much do you want to pay? If I give them the $10,000 on line one, okay, I could pay them $43,000 to get to here. But if I pay them the $10,000 on line one as a payment of principal, I will only pay them $1,000 in interest to get the loan down to here. Folks, which would you rather pay? Would you rather pay them the $1,000 to get to here, or $43,000 because you believe keeping cash on hand is so valuable? Listen, folks, all of your money, all of the money you have available to use is valuable. You just need to know how to use it. I just used Visa's money to save me $42,000, nearly $43,000. And so here's my question to you. It cost me $225 to give to Visa. Is it worth the $225 I had to give Visa so I can save $43,000 on my mortgage? Christy Hambrook said true. Kadisha says yes. William Bush says yes. Brenda Jackson says yes. So folks, this is what we're trying to get out to everybody. It has to be abundantly clear that you deserve to get a discount on borrowing your money. I like borrowing money at a discount, just like you like going to the store. Amari Park says, heck yes. Come on now. Just like you like going to the store and getting a great discount on something you purchase. Folks, When you borrow money from the bank, you're purchasing money from the bank. Don't pay retail prices for it. Remember prepayment of principal. Remember isolating the principal amount. Remember leverage. Remember liquidity.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.